What's good, YouTube? Moneymay, coming at you on our video. In today's video, we're gonna be going over how Lil Uzi Vert finessed Atlantic Records. All right, let's get into it. So, as many of you guys do know, Lil Uzi Vert dropped his latest album, Eternal Take 2. EA2 came with a bunch of mixed reviews. People either loved the album, people completely hated it, people dragged Uzi's name through the mud, people trashed this album, people were like, yo, was Uzi even trying on this album? That was one of the first questions that came up in my mind after reacting to the entirety of the album. Me and my chat was just like, yo, Uzi had to drop a BS album because there's no way Uzi would have delivered this quality of work within his music, right? Comparing it to all of his previous work, EA2 is night and day, right? So a lot of people were like, what the hell is Uzi going on? And a big question that came about was whether Uzi just dropped this album to finesse the label and get out of his contract. And now about a couple days later, after the album has been dropped, that's the direction it's pointing towards. Now, I'm not gonna say it's been confirmed 100% concrete proof that Uzi 1000% dropped this album to get out of his record label, but a lot of people have connected the dots. And it looks pretty convincing, right? Especially after this tweet that Uzi dropped a while ago. He said, I'm dropping 2 more albums, then I'm out. Pink Tape and now EA2, right? And you know, EA2 was just like, really, it felt so random. It kind of felt like it just came and went, to be quite honest. And it kind of felt like Uzi kind of went ghost on the album as well. So the whole question about the whole Frank Ocean method, did he finesse the album? It all came about. And this dude on Twitter made a great thread. So shout out, bro. He made a really good thread that I haven't reacted to in full, but I saw a couple slides and I was like, yo, I gotta make a video on this because this is pretty juicy, right? So he says, we all know Lil Uzi Vert came out of a long hiatus from social media to quickly drop EA2, but it was actually a throwaway album. Continue this thread to find out. So he said, first, some are not convinced EA2 was Uzi's last album under contract. This story in late 2023 proves that Uzi only has 1 album left. So he said this in 2023 post Pink Tape. He said, why not stop because business doesn't work like that? I have 1 more album to turn in. After that, I can genuinely smile. I have a talented, but I also have a heart and have been holding in a lot. I'm not as close to my family as I want. My relationship isn't the best shape. I just want to breathe. So he said that after Pink Tape, so regarding 1 more album, saying I got 1 more album to turn in. After that, I can genuinely smile, right? Then he said the months leading up to EA2, Uzi started to wear all white. All white represents a new start, new beginnings, cleansing, etc. Like a new chapter, right? He said this was proven when Uzi dropped the EA2 trailer, as it states the beginning of a new era, alluding to independence from his label. So yeah, in Uzi's tweet, it says the beginning of a new era, White Heart, EA2 trailer, XYZ. In addition to wearing all white, Uzi has made references to Frank Ocean during his rollout. Yup, he did shave his head and go green, similar to Frank Ocean. And obviously, we know who pulled off the biggest finesse of a lifetime in terms of finessing a record label, right? That goes to Frank Ocean, and they got the same hair. Then Uzi actually did post Frank Ocean a couple days ago. He said, on November 11th, Uzi also posted Frank Ocean on his story with words that say CFO on the side. Why Frank is important in this case? Because he dropped the throwaway album so he can get out of his deal, like we just said. Uzi referring to Frank means he's doing the same, as CFO means Chief Financial Officer, which means Uzi is in control of his own moves and is now independent. The first time was 4 days after EA2 when he removed the EA2 link and added CFO. So yeah, like I said, after EA2, it kind of felt like Uzi simply just abandoned the album, right? There was no promo. He went on Kai Cenat's stream. I don't even think they reacted to or even played any of the songs. He just kind of showed up to kind of have a good time. I wanted to see how Kai Cenat reacted to the album, or at least them talk about the album, but they didn't really do that much. And he did do an interview with Complex, but honestly, they didn't really dive that deep within the music, in my opinion. But that's just my thoughts, right? Uzi kind of just like I said, he felt like he really just abandoned the album. Like similar to Pink Tape too, it felt like leading up to Pink Tape, it was dope, and right when Pink Tape dropped, it literally plateaued. Uzi wasn't talking about it. So that's that regarding EA2. He's the Chief Financial Officer, meaning he's independent of his own music. He's independent of his own moves, XYZ. He is the CFO. Now he says, also Uzi removed EA2 post 4 days after release and changed his profile picture to the foot of a teddy bear. Yeah, he completely wiped all his socials of EA2. It's almost like EA2 never existed till Lil Uzi Vert post that album, right? Then he says this means he does not care about promoting the album and does not want label to make money. Uzi did not post anything advertising the merch either. But I feel like Uzi's never really been the type of artist to really do that. Uzi's never really pushed merch other than maybe like the Human Made collab, but he's never really pushed merch, bundles. He's not really that type of guy compared to like Travis or Cardi, right? He doesn't really do that much marketing everything in terms of his merch, right? Then he said, one of the biggest clues we have is this alien picture. Yeah, so Uzi did put on this website, and this picture is referring to that original EA picture. And then he has the EA2 cover with an alien and then a trash bag right here, symbolizing EA2 was a throwaway. It's the first picture under the inspiration tab under Uzi's new website. So I actually did not know that this was in Uzi's website, and it was under the inspiration tab. So if the inspiration tab for Uzi's album for a website that was dedicated towards EA2 has an alien holding up a piece of trash, we all know what he's referring towards, right? Then he said the lyrics under EA2 also provided many clues to why Uzi does not care about dropping hits or getting a new contract. He says, I make hits and I make songs for hits. I don't give a F about no hits, SMD. What else did he say? I'm running through stuff like I'm not even really trying to make a hit. Then he said, yeah, new contract at Red Mines. Yeah, so it was said that like Uzi was in a contract with, I believe, Atlantic since 2015. I don't really know anything in details regarding to that. Then he says more evidence is when EA2 CD shipped with the I'm Cooked skit instead of We Good. People think the label wanted Uzi to scrap the skit because it was so unserious. So I've actually never heard this, and I didn't even know the CDs have a skit instead of track 1, We Good. So instead of We Good, it starts off with I'm Cooked and then it goes into track 2. And this is the skit right here. I've never heard it.
Extraterrestrial abductee. What's this? Those are UFOs.
Bro, he's trolling.
Those clouds.
There's no way. Okay, so that's a skit that comes with the CDs, and maybe it might have been on the album, because if you remember that track list that Uzi put out on his story prior to the official track list dropping, it had the I'm Cooked skit alongside Baby Bling Bling, something like that. There was 2 skits. Obviously on the official project there was no skits, but this is the I'm Cooked skit on the CDs. And like, bro, come on, there's no way Uzi was actually trying to put this skit on the album. But does it really matter if it is a throwaway album? He was basically just saying a big F you to the label with this album from what it seems like. Then he says the EA2 trailer also shows Uzi as a show for other people, and he is controlled by his label. The girl finally frees Uzi and he's able to enjoy life again as he is out of his contract. Yeah, so I was actually talking to one of my friends, JC, and he was like, that theory actually might be true, because if you really pay attention to the trailer, that's kind of the message that he was putting out there with that trailer. Then he said this thread shows that Uzi made it clear that escaping his label is a major priority. It's not that hard to understand that EA2 being a throwaway album isn't a stretch but a reality. There are many other people close to Uzi who have insinuated this as well. Thank you for reading. All right, shout out this guy. Uzi is free from his contract. He said when Frank made a throwaway album, he followed it up with real music because he actually made good music in that time. Yeah, Uzi did also. Yeah, the whole narrative has been Uzi's washed, it's over, he's cooked, he's never making a good album again. Me personally, I'll never lose faith in Uzi because we all know his discography and what he can cook up. We know he's a certified hit maker. And I was right. When I was reacting to this album, I just felt like Uzi did not put his all into this work, and it felt like a BS album. And from reading all this, that's what it seems like, right? I'm convinced this is 1000% a throwaway album to get out of his label. You can believe what you want, but a lot of the stars are lining up in that direction. Obviously, this is just kind of speculation and not concrete 100% evidence. You guys can think what you want. And then they said the Shell's lyrics, trying to figure out how I'm gonna get on my D, I'm a bad boy, red when I feel like I'm Mace. Yeah, like he's been hinting at this for a while now. Like this isn't really new. But on Rock Nation till death, shout out Jay-Z. Probably is 100% signed to Rock Nation directly. No DJ Drama, no Atlantic, and no Generation Now. Rock Nation is yeah, that's what I heard. Rock Nation is just under management for Uzi. So Rock Nation is a management deal and has nothing to do with the music. Yeah, so that seems to be, you know, the thread right there. Shout out this dude because he really put his on to this. Y'all go follow him because this was a great thread. And it was really interesting, you know, seeing all the backstory and trying to connect the dots. And the dots make perfect sense in my opinion. Uzi is free. Shout out Uzi. And I think, like I said this after reacting to EA2, I'm not losing faith in Uzi because he can drop a hit tomorrow. Let's see what Uzi responds with the next album. Is the next album soon? In my opinion, if he did drop a BS album, I would think the next album would be, you know, pretty soon, right? I'm guessing maybe in the next 6 months he will drop his next album, because this album really seemed like he recorded it within a week. You know, a majority of the songs didn't have like 2 verses. It kind of just felt like a lot of the songs were freestyled. He kept saying I get hot, hot, hot. Like a lot of the songs really just felt like he made it in a short direction, and there was no like direction or intent within these songs. It just kind of felt like a compilation of songs Uzi made in like what, a month. I'm personally not a fan of EA2. If you are, congrats, you enjoy it. After about a week and a half, I've simply just not gone back to the project whatsoever. But let me know what you guys think about this Twitter thread regarding Uzi leaving his album, dropping a BS album with EA2. And do you think Uzi's gonna drop a classic with the next album? In my opinion, he's got to, right? Because if he puts out a BS album like this and he didn't really publicly state it, a lot of people are gonna have speculation. Obviously, the whole narratives are going around. Uzi's washed, it's done, he's cooked, XYZ. So he's got to come back swinging and hitting hard, which I do think he can. Imagine if he would drop EA3 or Love Is Rage 3. I feel like the next album's probably Love Is Rage 3. But if you guys like this video, like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's Moneymay, or is it? And I'm out. Thank you guys.